All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of everything you need to know about Ranger School. Today, I'm going to be going over in detail everything you need to know about mountain phase at Ranger School. I'm also testing out this Crossfire ruck. That's why it looks like I have a different big bulky ruck on, but it's actually pretty legit. And I got a lot of weight on today, and I figured that was really really applicable to mountain phase. Okay, right off the bat, I can tell you that mountain phase is the majority of rangers favorite phase of Ranger School, but also the worst phase of Ranger School in their opinion. And that's because mountain phase, you know, there's a lot of really cool things that happen in mountain phase. You get to go learn about rappelling, you get to learn about ropes, knots. You also get to take in a lot of really interesting scenery. I wish I could be around Dahlonega right now while I'm giving you guys this roll up of the this exum of Ranger School for mountain phase, but I'm just not. So I'm out here in the Fort Bragg wilderness instead, which is pretty close. And you know, but I do got the big ruck on, and this is going to be pretty applicable to mountain phase. Before I move any further, make sure not to forget to like and subscribe. It helps other people to see this video. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I want as many people out there to see this video as possible and be ready for Ranger School. So make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. All right, so mountain phase. Mountain phase is going to happen right after Derby phase. You're going to get your Derby pass, which is basically like 12 hours of the day. You don't get a night, but you get like a full Saturday to go home, refit, eat all the food you can possibly eat, see your family, and kiss them goodbye as you head off to Dahlonega in Georgia. Now, more than likely, you're going to end up busing into Dahlonega, which is going to be around a 6-hour drive. Okay, it will be a pretty comfortable bus. It's like one of the only times you're ever somewhat comfortable in Ranger School. It'll be a nice bus. It won't be like one of them shitty army buses. It'll be like a charter bus, and you'll get on that bus, and they'll even let you like bring an MRE with you and eat an MRE on the bus. So you get like to actually eat an MRE nice and slow, however you want to eat it. It's it's one of those, you know, small victories. All right, so you'll do that. You'll drive all the way to Dahlonega. Hopefully the bus doesn't break down on your way there, and then you will arrive at Camp Merrill, Georgia. Gotta fly on my anyway, so you'll arrive at Camp Merrill, Georgia. So what's cool about mountain phase is they actually just like updated the facilities at Camp Merrill. So the chow hall there is really nice. The barracks there are pretty nice. The showers are nice, toilets. You actually stay in barracks for like the first week or so and do your training out of the barracks. You'll sleep at barracks at night, which is really nice. Man, there's a lot of flies out here. But your first week and a half will be devoted to learning more about patrolling, learning about the mountains environment. You will also upgrade from squad level tactics, which you were doing back in Derby phase, to now platoon level tactics. So the graded positions are now going to be platoon leader, platoon sergeant, and squad leader. So you'll learn what it takes to successfully navigate that leadership position, and you'll get like a week or so to do that. During that time, you'll also do what's called lowers. You'll go to lowers, which is on Camp Merrill. It's like right outside of Camp Merrill, and you'll learn how to rappel. You'll learn how to do military knots. You'll learn some mountaineering things. You'll learn a whole bunch of stuff for the next few days about mountaineering. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. A lot of guys don't really enjoy it that much because they feel like it's wasted time at Ranger School because it's not really like a go or a no-go. The only thing it's a go or no-go is the knots test, which you'll most likely get a go at. But the rest of it's just days, extra days being at Ranger School, learning things that you might not necessarily put into practice. Okay, that's just real talk. But if you know, it is good stuff. It's really good things for soldiers to be learning. It's good things to learn in life, these mountaineering skills. And don't put on a poopy face while you're doing your time in lowers. Go there, learn, stay motivated, and try to enjoy yourself. You'll also take the infamous hike up Mount Yonah, which isn't as bad as everybody makes it sound. At least it wasn't for me. It is like a smoker, don't get me wrong. You're gonna be hiking uphill for a good amount of time with a you know, a 3-day pack on. And if you go in the winter, it's gonna be snowing and it's gonna be extremely rough. But it's nothing to like stop you from going to Ranger School. You shouldn't fear it. Okay, it's just another thing you do. It's not a big deal. You go to Mount Yonah and you'll start putting a lot of things that you learned in lowers into practice. You'll do like rappelling off very large cliffs. You'll do a nighttime rappel under nods, which is actually pretty cool, man. That was actually a good time. Again, I'm surprised more people don't die in Ranger School with everything that you do in mountains phase. But yeah, you'll go to Mount Yonah, you'll spend the night there for a couple nights, you'll do all these things. You have to be careful not to get safety violations during your time in Yonah, because you will have your rifle with you, and a lot of times it'll be slung behind your back. And I don't know how it happens, but somehow your safety selector switch will go off of safety onto fire while it's on your back and nobody's touching it. I don't know how it happens, but it does. So you need to be checking that all the time. That's something that happened to me. I was getting ready to go on a rappel. I turned around and the RI said, "Stop, what are you doing? Your weapon is on fire." And I was like, "Oh shit, I don't know." And I got a major minus for that. Luckily I didn't get like a safety violation, get kicked, but I did get a major minus, which made me pretty poopy for a few hours, but I got over it and it wasn't a big deal. Make sure you're still paying attention to everything. It's gonna seem like a good time, but you still need to like be serious about what you're doing. Don't take anything too lightly, and you know, don't commit any safety violations. Oh shit. I just happened to see this and I want to see if I can get this for you guys. Got him. Look at that. That's how you catch a fish. All right, I don't always do that. I just thought that'd be cool for you guys to see it. It was a good test. All right, so we're gonna put, he was stuck in a puddle. We're gonna put him back in the water. He's freaking out right now. He's like, "What are you gonna do with me?" But we're gonna do the right thing. We'll put him back. All right, let's put this guy back so somebody else can fish him up. Here he goes. All right. Good times. All right, you're not gonna be doing any fishing like that in mountain phase, but I just thought that'd be fun for you guys to see. Steer school, you might be able to do something like that if you're lucky. All right, anyway, so where was I? So, all right, so as far as patrolling goes, you're gonna be going to the field. It's split into 2 5-day periods. And at the beginning of each 5-day period, you'll do a full dress op order, okay? And it's gonna be much more involved. The bay is gonna be much bigger. It's gonna be an even higher standard of grading as you go through your op order. So just be ready for that. You'll do your op order, and you'll either do it overnight, like you'll work on the op order for a day, go sleep and come back and finish it up and brief it, or you'll do it like super early in the morning, go through the whole day, and you'll do your first mission that day during the nighttime. Just depends on the class, but I've heard it go both ways. You'll do your op order and it will be done in the same way. You'll have your leadership positions doing the op order. Make sure you do it to standard. Don't forget to be asking your guys if they have any questions, because this is not the time to have anybody not understand something. It's easy to get lost in mountain phase, okay? You're gonna be super tired, super out of focus, and it's just much easier to get screwed up in mountain phase. So you do your op order, and then you're gonna go off on your patrol. Typically, they won't change leadership positions at least till halfway through the movement or after actions on objective. So you might actually get looked at for op order and for the mission itself. And then besides that, the way the missions will work, you'll do patrol bases out there at night. You'll stay out there for the entire 5 days. You'll do the patrol bases, and you'll do op orders from the patrol base, okay? So just because you weren't the guy getting looked at for op order on the first one doesn't mean you're not going to get looked at for doing op orders later on during the field exercise. And then you'll rotate leadership positions. You should be doing about 2 missions a day, 1 a day, 1 at night. You definitely want the day one. And they're going to be the same. They're going to be either you're doing a raid or an ambush. And the only real difference is that you're in a new area and it's platoon level operations instead of squad. Now, some of the things you guys definitely want to know about it in mountain phase, I'm sure. The terrain is horrendous, okay? The terrain is miserable. You're going to be going, it seems like, uphill most of the time, even though you got to be going downhill too to get back, right? But it just seems like you're always going uphill. You'll have heavier packs because you're out there for longer. You'll have more ammo, more equipment. That's why this big rucksack is appropriate for this video. You will most likely have your come to Jesus moment in mountain phase, okay? That's when you're really gonna wanna quit, but you won't, right? Because you're a high-speed ranger and you wanna be gritty and stay gritty and you wanna get through ranger school and get your taps, so you're not gonna quit. This is a phase where teamwork is truly tested. During the day, you'll feel pretty okay. You'll get through the operations. You'll be tired. You'll still wanna fall asleep on patrol and on security, but you're more likely to get through it without droning during the day, okay? At nighttime, that's when it all changes, especially in mountain phase. As soon as those nods go down and everybody starts seeing green, it's like, click, everybody just starts fucking up, all right? Night missions in Ranger School during mountain phase are a complete shit show. When you're there and your night missions are just going crazy, like nothing's going right, everything's slow, you're always lost, people are falling asleep while they're walking, that is completely normal for Ranger School, and it happens. Don't let the RIs make you think it's only your class, because it's not. But that's the challenge that's being put in front of you, okay? Can you wrangle a platoon's worth or a squad's worth of, you know, would-be Rangers that can barely put one foot in front of the other in the pitch black dark, walking through mountains, mountainous terrain, and super thick brush, and somehow get them to complete the task, complete the mission, and get to the objective and complete the mission? That's the real challenge, okay? Like most of the time when you're on mountains, when you're going from like one place to the other, they'll allow you to walk on paths like this because it just takes so long to get to certain places, and it's so rough that there will be times you'll walk like this, but you'll walk in a tactical column. But that's the time, you've probably heard this in Ranger School, that you'll see guys like just, they're walking and they'll just start walking into the woods because they're falling asleep while they're walking, okay? And that happened to me, it happened to my Ranger buddies, it happens. You got to police up your buddies, you got to watch them, all right? Don't let them just be wandering off, you know, pay attention. This is a time when like you'll be briefing somebody, you'll be telling them what they need to do when you're in leadership position. Hey, I want you to go be on security, I want you to, you know, set up the first line in the ambush, whatever. You have to repeat yourself. You have to like shake them and make sure that they're understanding, because they'll sit there and nod their head, but they haven't heard a word you're saying because they're just so out of it. It's probably where I get my repetitiveness from, as being in the infantry and Ranger School and all that stuff. Like when dudes are droning, you have to be repetitive or they just won't get it. After the first 5 days, you'll come back for like a 2-day refit tops. It's like 1 or 2 days refit. You'll get to eat at the chow hall again. And I didn't tell you yet, but the chow hall there is awesome, all right? Yeah, you'll have like 1,500 calorie meals, especially for breakfast, but they're only gonna give you like 5 minutes to eat that shit, tops. So you're just scarfing everything down. It tastes really good, but you're like choking as you're eating it, okay? Definitely get as much of it as you possibly can down, all right? Don't take your time. And what they'll do to make sure that you're staying within that time standard, they'll identify a chow Nazi, is what they call it. And it's just one of your Ranger buddies that unfortunately got picked that day. And he's the one that needs to go around and tell people when they're done eating and when the next ones can come in and eat. And you just try not to hate the chow Nazi, man. He's just one of your Ranger buddies, and he got picked for the shitty duty, man. You know, so just listen to what he says and move out, and don't hold anything against them. Remember, the RIs are the enemy, not your Ranger buddy. So you'll go, you'll refit, you'll do another full-on op order, and then you'll go back out for another 5 days and do it all over again. At the end of the 5 days, that's when like that long walk happens, and it all depends on the cycle and what the weather's like. But you can expect to do upwards of like 12 to 15 miles all the way back to camp. This is like the walk where pain is no longer the issue. It's just, can you physically like make your body continue to move forward for that long under that much stress with that much malnutrition and under nighttime conditions where you're falling asleep walking? You know what I mean? You'll find yourself like going off the beaten path multiple times. It's just a complete drone fest. It's like a really long dream. It's kind of what it's like. So just expect that. It's hard for me to describe it, but it's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel poopy. You're not gonna feel great. And you're probably gonna wander off into the woods a few times. Pay attention to your Ranger buddies, pay attention to yourself, do your best to get through it. You'll be just fine. Another quick note for that one, and really for the majority of the time you're doing patrolling in mountains, if you ever see one of your buddies just struggling with the weight, it's okay to take a little bit of weight off, okay? Like if they're carrying a lot of the extra ammo, or they're carrying the AT4 or the Claymores or whatever, and they're just struggling and you see it, you don't get that, like, you know, sometimes this soldier attitude of like, it just sucks to be him. Don't do that. You need to be more like, oh man, that's part of my team. I need to help out where I can. I need to take that from him for a little while, give him a little break, let him recoup. I'll take some of the weight off his shoulders, put it on mine, and we'll just disseminate the weight like that. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're giving each other enough breaks. Every person is critical during mountain phase. Every person is a cog in the earn your Ranger tab machine during mountains, okay? Because it really is. I can't stress it enough. It's just a suck fest the entire time. I was more cold than I have ever been in my life during mountains. I've never felt so defeated in my life until I got to mountains phase. If you go in the winter, there's gonna be times when hypothermia is like a legit threat. You know, you really have to watch out for that. And just going up those super steep hills with like upwards of 90 pounds on your back at any given time is just a miserable experience, especially when you tack on the stress of being judged on whether or not you're going to be able to go on to the next phase. If you get a no-go the first time, don't worry, okay? You'll get another shot. I no-go'd my first time. It was like day 2 or day 3, I was the PL, and it was a nighttime mission. And I mean, I'm not blaming my guys, but it was just one of those nights where it was like, nobody was having it. Like nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody was motivated at all. And it was just one of those cases of, you know, doing my best to herd cats into the washing machine. And unfortunately it wasn't good enough, but that's okay. You get through it and you just knock it out the next time. Take what you learned during your no-go, figure out what you need to do to fix it, talk with your guys, whatever, practice a little more, and you'll get it on the next one, okay? Don't let it bother you. Don't let the failure bother you, just keep moving forward. That's really all you can do. But once everything's done, you're done with the 10 days complete of field time, and you've done your long walk home, you'll come back, you'll clean up, they'll let you eat a whole bunch of food, you'll do your dog X and your snack X, and you'll do your 10,000 calorie day, and you'll just recoup everything you lost instantly somehow. You'll eat till you're sick. And in mountain phase, they just group everybody all up together and they just call off names. They say, if I call your name, go over there. If I don't call your name, go over there. And then one group is the goes, one group is the no-goes. And it's unfortunate if you're a no-go, but if you do get a no-go, it's all right, man. Suck it up, you're doing mountains again, no big deal. Extra training never hurt anybody. All right, well, that's my everything you need to know roll up on mountains. I want you guys to go out there and crush it. That's what this is all about, all right? It's really for motivation and information and just to get your mind right. You guys got this, you can go do it. If there's anybody watching this who's been through mountains and they have their own input, please, by all means, drop in the comments for everybody. This is meant to be helpful for the entire community and to get more ranger tabbed individuals out there and just give them the best shot possible to go out there and get their tabs. So by all means, please drop the information you got in the comments, anything I might have forgot. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I still owe you guys one more video, and that's Florida phase. That one will be dropping shortly, don't worry. I also have tons of other videos about ranger school, so make sure to check those out because they're going to be extremely helpful for you. Besides that, that's all I got today, and I'll see you on the next one.